Final results this morning from European Green Transition. We're joined now by Jack Kelly and Cathal Friel, two of the key members of the EGT team. Cathal, today as part of the results, it was announced that you'll be stepping into the position of Executive Chairman from the completion of the AGM. Why have you decided to step into this role?
Alistair, thank you very much for giving us time to speak to you today. And yeah, from the AGM of EGT, which is the 30th of June, I will step into the role of an executive chairman. I'm hugely excited about the prospects for EGT, and particularly as the company co-founder. I'm also the largest shareholder, and as you say, soon to be executive chairman. My interests are really clearly aligned with our shareholders, for all our shareholders. I'm confident we deliver on the M&A strategy we've announced we're going to pursue. And as EGT now moves forward and moves away from the mining assets and towards acquiring something we've been very good at, my core skill over the years has been acquiring distressed but revenue generating assets, and particularly in the green economy. And the timing, it's having recently made the decision to step down from my existing role as chairman of hVivo, a position that I held for the past 8 years. I'm now able to devote a lot more of my time to the role in EGT, and really, I had hoped to do this role a little earlier, second half of last year, but timing was timing. Had too many other commitments. My commitments now are very much EGT and Poolbeg and nothing else, because my role in hVivo did take up a lot of time. I'm excited about the potential opportunities we're seeing. Particularly, there's a number of distressed revenue-generating businesses in the green economy. The green economy, as you all know, there's been turmoil and changes in it. But this is the time we think now to really pick up distressed assets and to grow the business. Additionally, you'll see from today's announcement, our hugely exciting Olserum rare earth project remains a significant interest given the geopolitical tensions and movements. We've always been clear that the focus since IPO was not as a mining company. That's I'm really emphasizing. It's really, really important, because look, we know and understand mining, small cap mining companies really, they don't get revenues. And if there's no revenues, you burn cash. So any company I'm involved, I'm the largest shareholder. I bet money in. I don't like burning my cash. And I even definitely don't like burning shareholders' cash. So we're very not a mining. Therefore, we did a great results last year on the Olserum project. It was successfully completed. And in recognition of our strategy of moving away from mining and focusing on acquiring distressed assets, the board and Aidan Lavelle have mutually agreed that Aidan will step down as his role of CEO. Aidan will not seek re-election as a director at the forthcoming AGM, and his employment with the company will conclude at the AGM, i.e. the 30th of June. The board now feels this is the appropriate time to complete this, as a different set of skills are required to execute EGT's M&A, but really importantly, growth strategy going forward. I would like to thank Aidan for all the work he did. He did a fantastic work last year, drilling out project in Sweden. And Aidan has helped develop one of Europe's most attractive rare earth projects, which we feel will generate significant value for the EGT shareholders in the future. But the company is now focused on monetizing that asset and targeting revenue-generating businesses, which we can update you shortly. So what we're saying, we're spending no more money on that, and we really genuinely believe, and particularly President Trump has made it very clear, rare earth assets in Europe are of huge interest. So now is the time to focus on monetizing that asset. At the same time, using my skills of M&A and acquiring distressed but revenue-generating businesses to bolt together to really make a big success of European green.
So lots to think about there. Let's get up to speed, though, with today's announcement, Jack. It's been a year since you IPO'd, and these results are for the full year to December. Tell us about the results and perhaps some of the highlights that are in them.
Yeah, thanks, Alistair. So look, 2024 was a really exciting, transformative year for EGT. Firstly, we successfully listed on AIM, raising gross proceeds of 6.46 million, which was a great achievement for the business. We were actually one of only, I think, 11 businesses that listed for the year. So it was a really big achievement for the company. And as Cathal talked to, then we did a good bit of work on our Olserum rare earth asset up in Sweden last year, and achieved a number of key milestones and value inflection points for the Olserum rare earth asset as we prepare it for monetization through sale or partnership with a third party down the line. So the first thing we did, we completed a 1,500-meter drill program, and the key goal really there was to step out beyond the historic resource into Olserum West and Jupiter. And as Cathal mentioned, Aidan did a great job up there, and we successfully proved that the Olserum rare earth project, there's a district scale system for rare earths there, which is really crucial for an incoming partner. And this builds on the historic 43101 compliant resource we have up there. So it's a hugely exciting project. Secondly, we had really positive metallurgical results from the Olserum project. And why this is important is there's a clear standard, well understood processing route for the Olserum rare earths. This can be processed at a third party facility, which is hugely attractive for an incoming acquirer. Some rare earth projects are a lot more complicated and require bespoke facilities. So this won't be required at Olserum, which is really, really important. And these, I suppose, milestones and value inflection points we achieved enabled us to extend the license in the last number of months by a further 4 years to June 2029, which again was a considerable achievement. As well as that, we had a number of other projects underway in 2024, one of which was the Alton Carbon Credit Project. So this was an option we took on a project in Donegal in northwest of Ireland to look to generate carbon and biodiversity credits through a peatland project up in Donegal, and we can talk a bit more on that later. And from a financial perspective, to the end of the year, 31st of December 2024, we had a robust cash position of £3.7 million. And when that's left us in a really strong position to execute on our M&A strategy, focused on acquiring revenue generating businesses in the green economy with our existing cash resources. So, that's put us in a strong position, and even more so now with Cathal stepping into the position of executive chair at the end of the month.
So we're talking about monetizing Olserum, and it's a very interesting position that you find yourself in here, Cathal, in terms of being in the rare earth space. What are your thoughts on the market for rare earths and how this will impact your project?
Yeah, let's sure. Look, first of all, I emphasize that a lot of other more or less experienced small cap companies like us might pile all their money into the rare earth assets. We spent a certain amount, less than 10% of the funds raised in IPO. I say Aidan did a great job up in Sweden on the site for a lot of last summer. We now have it drilled, we've quantified, we know what's in it. So it's a very exciting project. And now is the perfect time to monetize it. And particularly, sometimes you get lucky. And we certainly have got lucky here with Trump making all this noise in the White House. They're a very hot topic in recent weeks, in recent months. And it's very clear that the Chinese have embargoed them. And there's a big part now of getting trade talks going with China. Will they allow rare earths to be exported or not? So the core part that the Trump administration, but really important, the European administration, because we do have America first, but you also have Europe, including the United Kingdom, looking after Europe as an identity, as a Europe force. So securing a sustainable supply of rare earths in Europe is a key goal of European governments. And we know Trump is after them as well. He's highlighted the importance of them. He's made a big deal about Ukraine. His sole interest at the moment is not getting the Russians out of Ukraine. It's how can you get the rare earths out of Ukraine? Whereas Sweden is a far more stable and much better place with a long mining history to do it. He's also hinted and mentioned his interest, President Trump, on Greenland. And again, that's the rare earths and other mineral resources that he's pointing there. Rare earths are critical to production of permanent magnets and are key in a number of vital industries. A few years ago, the key focus would have been the green industry, supporting the energy transition, where they're critical. Every wind turbine needs them. Every electric vehicle needs rare earths, and for solar panels. But the significant rise in global defense and geopolitical has increased the focus on them, and rare earths are critical for radar, communication sites, fighter jets, artillery, and defense systems. These are the big money people. The example, a typical F-35 fighter jet today needs more than 900 pounds of pure rare earths. 900 pounds, that's a lot of rare earths for a single jet, highlighting the importance of the stable supply. China, and this is the critical part, currently dominates with 90% of the global refined supply for four main rare earth magnet supplies, and recently imposed export restrictions on all rare earths to strengthen its grip in the market. These tariffs are a knock-on effect of the supply of rare earths, and it's clear that Europe needs its own stable supply beyond China. America is panicking, with the word would probably say, but Europe has been more consistent. However, there's no active mines in Europe, and this is one of the few ones that is near and pretty close to could come to production. We believe our rare earths project in Olserum in Sweden has potential to be the first operating rare earth mine in Europe and make a significant impact on the secure supply of rare earths in Europe. There's strong support in Sweden for mining companies, and it's a very, very mining-friendly jurisdiction. And even in the past year, the Swedish government has designated our project as one of strategic national interest designation from the Swedish Geological Society. We're now looking to monetize that asset. I say we're not going to burn through any more shareholders' money. So many other small cap mining companies, we just keep drill. That's not. You drill a certain point, you quantify it, and we're absolutely convinced we could do a really, really exciting deal with that in the months ahead. So we're not going to consume any more resources. Now will be on revenue producing asset. The continued global uncertainty is only making this asset even more interesting. So we're quite optimistic. We'll be updating at some stage in the year ahead about a monetization deal on this, where we would see a gem of an asset.
So finally, Jack, could you provide an update on EGT's activities since the start of this year, and perhaps outline for investors what we can expect going forward?
Yeah, sure, Alistair. So look, we started the year in a very strong position, and we've been laying the groundwork for, I suppose, another successful, productive year for EGT. So Carl's mentioned the M&A strategy, and that's taken up quite a bit of our time at the moment. And there's huge opportunities to capitalize there. And look, we look forward to hopefully updating people on that in due course. From a board perspective as well, there's been a number of changes which Cathal has touched on, primarily himself stepping up to the executive chairman position at the end of this month, which is hugely exciting for EGT. From the project perspective, our Olserum rare earth license, so we've successfully extended that by a further 4 years, and that's hugely a positive step in our discussions on monetizing that asset, because an incoming acquirer for the license to run for another 4 years is hugely important for them. Similarly, our Pajala copper project up in northern Sweden, which is an ex-Anglo-American project, and we successfully extended that license by a further 3 years to 2028. And again, we see huge potential in that. There's obviously copper is a key focus of investor interest at the moment, and its importance in electrifying the green economy is huge. So this is another potential European source project that we've had a number of discussions with in terms of monetizing in the near future. I mentioned the carbon credit project earlier, and as part of today's announcement, you will have seen we've extended this option agreement for a further 6 months. There's a number of key stakeholders we're working with as we look to see how to generate near-term revenue from this project. So we hope to have further updates on that in due course. It's a pretty interesting space. It's a rapidly developing area. I think a couple of weeks ago, Microsoft signed a commitment to acquire 3 million tons of carbon credits in an offtake agreement, which is crucially in nature-based carbon removal projects, which is very similar to what we have up in Donegal in Ireland. So look, in summary, for the remainder of 2025, we're in a really strong position now, and we're very excited with what's to come, primarily in executing our M&A focus strategy, and then actively engaging with other parties, in terms of monetizing our resource projects.
Exciting times indeed. Jack, Cal, thanks for joining us today.
So thank you very much for your
Thanks,
time.
Alistair.